On a map, the Aeolian Islands look incredibly close. But between two islands that appear almost connected, there may still be a hydrofoil, a wait, another transfer with your luggage, and a return service that limits the entire day. That is how a journey designed around the sea can become a sequence of departures. Lipari, Vulcano, Salina, Stromboli, Panarea, Filicudi, and Alicudi are not 7 stops on one simple route. They offer 7 different experiences and do not all belong in the same trip. By the end of this guide, you will know which island best matches your preferred pace, where to base yourself, and when a day trip leaves out the most important part of the experience. With limited time, the key decision is not which island to add, it is which transfer to avoid. And there is one island that many visitors leave just as the experience begins to change. For many travelers, the route to the Aeolian Islands passes through Milazzo. The first mistake is treating the arrival in town and the departure for the islands as one guaranteed connection. Between a flight or train, the ground transfer, and boarding, one delay can affect the final leg of the journey. The safest rule is to leave enough time and identify the connection you cannot afford to miss. The season also changes the trip. During the busiest periods, services and crowds generally increase. In the shoulder months, the atmosphere may be calmer, but transport requires more careful planning. Then comes the choice of base. Lipari suits first-time visitors, travelers with limited time, and anyone who wants more alternatives when plans change. It offers services, evening walks, and useful connections for excursions. Vulcano is more compact. From the harbor, you can walk to the black sand beach and create a day with fewer separate journeys. With only 2 or 3 days, I would not move accommodation between them. Choose Lipari for flexibility. Choose Vulcano for a more concentrated, less urban stay, focused mainly on the sea and volcanic scenery. Only a few minutes from the hydrofoil terminal, the atmosphere begins to change. In Marina Corta, the bustle of the connections gives way to small boats, cafe tables, and the castle above the town. From here, climb towards the citadel and visit the Luigi Bernabo Brea Aeolian Archaeological Museum. I would not treat it as a quick stop between 2 beaches. It needs time and helps explain the archipelago beyond its modern summer image. Then you need to decide how to experience the sea. Canetto is the practical option for travelers who want to combine the town with a swim without taking another boat. A coastal excursion makes more sense when the maritime landscape is one of the day's priorities. The 2 experiences are not equivalent, and they do not necessarily belong in the same day. The town, museum, beach, and complete island tour may technically fit into one schedule. The result, however, is a day shaped more by timetables than by the places themselves. Lipari works well for travelers seeking variety and flexibility. Those looking mainly for silence or a very compact stay may prefer another island. On Salina, accommodation does not only decide where you sleep, it determines which parts of the island you can experience naturally. When you stay in Santa Marina, the town and lingua form a simple combination. You can spend time by the water and enjoy unhurried pauses without repeatedly crossing the island. Molfa works as a base for a different kind of stay. From here, the northern side is easier to explore, while Panarea can become a separate outing, especially if you want to wait for the afternoon light. Connecting Santa Marina, Lingua, Molfa, and Panarea in one day may look reasonable on a map. In practice, it means accumulating transfers and waiting. On Salina, The most scenic area is not always the most practical. Salina suits couples, longer stays, and travelers who prefer a slower rhythm. It is less flexible for anyone who wants to change plans several times during the day. Staying overnight allows you to choose one side of the island and experience it without organizing every hour around the final connection. Would you prefer Lipari's greater flexibility or Salina's slower pace?
The main arrival point is Scari. From here, walk uphill towards San Vincenzo and continue to Fico Grande without filling the day with transfers. During daylight, Stromboli seems to be made from only a few elements: pale houses, narrow streets, black sand, and the volcanic cone constantly present. Then the light begins to fade. The village slows down, the sea changes color, and the volcano suddenly feels closer. This is the island mentioned at the beginning, the one many visitors leave just as the experience begins to change. The Sciara del Fuego may be viewed from the sea on suitable excursions or from permitted land-based areas. Guided excursions are a separate choice and always depend on current access rules and local instructions. Ginostra is also a distinct arrival point, not a quick diversion from the main village. A day trip may be enough to explore the settlement and black sand coast. It cannot, however, reproduce the transition from daylight to darkness. When that transformation is one of your reasons for traveling, staying overnight is not an addition. It is the decision that changes the experience. Stromboli is not always an island to add to the itinerary. Sometimes it is the island worth removing something else for.
Panarea offers plenty to do. What it does not offer is enough time to experience every side of the island in the same day. The first experience is on land. From the inhabited area, walk towards Punta Milazzese and continue to Cala Junco. The route combines archaeology and the sea, but the heat and exposed path can make it more demanding than it appears. The second experience is by boat. Basiluzzo and the surrounding small islands belong to a day on the water, not to a diversion added after the walk. The third begins in the evening. Around the terraces overlooking the harbor, a panoramic aperitif and the island's social atmosphere may become part of the stay. They are not essential and will not suit every budget. The comparison is therefore simple: walking and archaeology, boating and coastline, or the evening atmosphere. During a short visit, I would choose one main experience. With an overnight stay, the evening can naturally follow either of the other two. Trying to do everything does not make Panarea more complete. It only makes the day more dependent on the clock.
On Alicudi, the journey changes as soon as you leave the harbor. Stone steps and mule tracks take over, and moving around depends far more on your legs than on any road. Accommodation location and luggage weight, therefore, have a direct effect on the comfort of the stay. Filicudi offers more alternatives. From the harbor area, you can reach Capo Graziano, while the Buoi Marino Cave and La Cana belong to a day on the water and depend on sea conditions. The two islands are not interchangeable. Filicudi combines small settlements, archaeology, and coastline. Alicudi reduces transport, services, and the ability to change plans even further. Neither island is essential on a short first trip. When silence and isolation are the main reasons for traveling, however, they should not be added as a final stop. They can become the center of the stay. The decision is concrete. Choose Filicudi for a remote island with more alternatives, and Alicudi when you are comfortable with steps, fewer services, and a far more essential experience. If you remember only one rule, make it this one. 2 or 3 days, choose one base. 4 or 5 days, keep one main base and add one carefully chosen overnight stay, but only when it genuinely changes the experience. 1 week, use no more than 2 bases and avoid turning every day into another transfer. Then identify your travel style. Choose Lipari for maximum flexibility and a first trip with limited time. Choose Vulcano for a short, compact stay focused on the sea. Choose Salina for a slower journey, several nights, and an accommodation area selected carefully. Choose Stromboli when the evening and night are central to the trip. Choose Panarea when you already know whether you want to walk, take a boat, or experience the evening atmosphere. Choose Filicudi or Alicudi when isolation and limited services are not disadvantages to tolerate, but exactly what you are seeking. Do not choose the island that appears to offer the most. Choose the one that makes your preferred way of traveling easier. First the pace, then the islands. Which island would you use as your base? Share your choice in the comments. And if you prefer guides that help you make decisions before filling the itinerary, you can continue planning your trip with TripsLab. In the Aeolian Islands, you will remember fewer of the harbors you reached, and much more clearly the island where you watched the evening arrive.